Well, hello folks. On this video, I'm going to be constructing a garden bed. And, it's not just doing a garden bed, but my philosophy is doing a garden bed with free or extremely low cost materials. So I'm going to break some rules when I do this garden bed because mainly it's being built with recycled material or completely free material. Even the actual garden bed itself, which is actually being constructed in a bucket like a raised bed, even that was something that was given to me by one of my friends who has cows, and he used to use it as a water bucket. And the last thing to mention, you'll see right off, is that this time, a little rare instance where I actually have a cameraman, or actually specifically a camera woman. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. I want to get close. So why the mask? I just did a video showing about the ash juniper, about how it's releasing pollen this time of the year, and I'm very allergic to it. So I wear the mask when I'm outside so I don't get sick. And just to show you what we're working on, you can see all this. We'll get a shot of this. Okay, come on over. Get inside this bucket. So I've talked about this bucket a few times, and I'm finally working on it today. So what are we doing in here? I'm taking all the compost out. I mentioned I demolished my compost. I've been using this as a kind of a makeshift compost bin until then, and I had actually put some old rotten sticks in here a long time ago, and I was composting in place to try to help break some of that down. So now is the day that I'm going to pull all these out of here and leave a lot of this partially composted material in here and some of these rotten deciduous sticks, and fill it off with some dirt, and so I can start growing in it. And yeah, so let's get this sucker started. Okay, so I've pulled all the sticks out, and now I'm going to come over and go ahead and let's take a look in here. You see, there's still plenty of little limbs in here, but they're all almost completely broken down still. If they're partially rotten, yes, it's going to remove nitrogen from your soil as they break down, but I don't need this garden bed to be completely productive immediately. I can wait for a few years for it to become productive. When you have a raised bed in this part of Texas, you have to go through some extra lengths to make sure that it holds water, because as you raise the dirt up above the ground, it dries out faster. So I want to have a good base, like a sponge, that can retain that moisture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this partially digested compost and throw it back in. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover that with clay from the pond, which also has a lot of broken down very rich organic matter and soil that's washed into the pond. And then I'm going to take some good compost from my old compost pile and top that off in this garden bed. And hopefully it'll be at least somewhat productive in the spring. Now I'll come over here. This is for people who like to gross out. So if you don't like this, turn away. Here we go. Look at that nastiness. Look at all those roaches. You see them? I don't know if they're coming out on camera. I'm quiet, you can hear them. Now, you might be grossed out by roaches, but they're extremely helpful little critters in a compost. So, let's put them in the bed, because I think they're about to die. And let's get this show on the road and finish building it. Okay, so second phase, which was to put some of that compost back in here. Let's get a look at that. All right. So this is about 18 inches or so of depth. That's going to have to be filled with soil. The biggest reason why I do it this way is to save on soil, to reduce the amount of soil I have to use. So, and like I said, it doesn't need to be productive right away. I can wait 5 years for this to become productive, so I'm not too worried about it. And And here we have some very rich pond soil. Let's see if we get close and take a look. It's nice and pretty. There's some rocks in there. All right, so I'm going to repeat that several times until I have a good, probably 6-inch layer, maybe deeper, of pond soil in here. Okay? And then I want to top that off, like I mentioned before, with some compost. Remove these rocks and see what it looks like when we're done. I'll spare you the digging process. I don't think that makes for good television. And probably the next phase will be showing you the addition of the compost and the finished product. Are you filming the age? Filming the broken down old man? You can't see me smiling. Okay. Yeah, so I'm digging around this guy because the roots are starting to rot. So I'm digging it out to try to accelerate that process because I want him out of here. I want that out of there eventually. So be careful, watch your eyes, okay? This stuff likes to fly around. There you can see the root. So I think I've gone about as deep as I can go there. Build a walkway. There's dirt in my glove. Okay. Actually, I'm just stalling for time. Yeah, look at that stuff. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, you let the water flow in for months. It brings the organic debris. You let it sit there and compost in place. That brings your earthworms up. They chomp on that organic matter. They till the soil here, making it easier to dig, enriching the soil, allowing me to use it elsewhere. There it is, see it? See that root? Yeah, that's what's making it hard to dig here, is these roots. I can handle rocks. These roots are a pain. That's why I want to get rid of them so bad. All right, it's pickaxe time. Ah. This old man just ain't what he used to be. I'm lying, I was never that great.
Well, it's pretty evident you're working now. Yeah. Roots out of there. That's good enough for now. You're gonna film me struggling to carry the buckets?
I would never do that to you.
Of course you wouldn't. Okay, so made a few trips to the pond, tossed it in the bucket. Now I want to add a little bit of this soil. Come over here and get a shot of this. This is old potting soil. See? So I'm just going to mix in a fine layer of it. Maybe add a little bit of drainage to this clay. Now, it's already going to drain pretty well because of the compost underneath. Excuse me. Okay, you can take a look if you want. Get another bucket and then we'll throw some more clay in. This potting soil is not very good. A lot of it was from me experimenting with trying to make my own potting soil. And these are failed experiments mostly. See, like just clumps of clay. So, because I don't throw anything away, it goes here. All right, so I'm thinking 2 or 3 more buckets of pond soil, and then we're just going to top it off with what's in that wheelbarrow and finish up. Yeah, I got 1 bucket. Look at this. That's just a rock. That gives you an idea of the type of soil, if you can call it soil, I have. See that? That's just a big pile of rocks, just from this small area. All right, scoot back. Look at that. Pure rock. There we go. Woo! All right. And cut instead of filming my ass. Woo! Okay, look at that. You see it? We're filming. We're filming. Okay, come over here. So I think I'm about done putting pond soil in. What you see here, I've mentioned this in some of my other videos, are potatoes that we just didn't get around to eating. So, like I mentioned, I go around my yard and I find a spot and I just chunk them in the ground. And most of the time they live. As a matter of fact, they're still growing all over the property this late in the winter. So, well, actually, it's technically not winter yet, but this late in the fall. So I'm just going to put them in here because, well, you know, might as well. They're going to go bad if I don't. And we're going to cover this stuff with the wheelbarrow soil that I showed you before. And after that's done, I'll probably top it off with a layer of compost, and that'll be done. Now, of course, what's going to happen is as that compost breaks down and as the rain comes, the soil is going to sift through the cracks. It's going to sink. And when that happens, I'll just top it off with some better soil. Okay? And hopefully, it'll become productive fairly quick, but like I said before, if it doesn't, no big deal. All right, so let me get to this process of dumping this better soil in. Okay, so we just got some cleanup. Obviously, we got to put some sticks up, but come over here, and there it is. Like I said, it's going to rain. The compost is going to break down. It's going to sink. The dirt's going to seep through the cracks. And we got some potatoes in there, and I'll keep track of it, and I'll show you guys what happens with it. That should be it.